How often do you exercise and walk away thinking, that should be enough, without really knowing if you're doing the right things for your body? If you're over 50, staying active isn't just a bonus, it's essential. But what if some of your exercise habits, the very routines you count on to stay healthy, are actually working against you? As we age, our bodies change. Joints become stiffer, muscles take longer to recover, balance can become more fragile, and injuries tend to heal more slowly. Exercise isn't just about burning calories anymore. It's about preserving mobility, protecting your heart, strengthening your bones, and keeping your mind sharp. But here's the problem. Many seniors unknowingly make small but critical mistakes in their exercise routines. And those mistakes can add up to bigger issues like chronic pain, reduced performance, or even dangerous injuries. Maybe you stretch too quickly and assume it counts as a warm-up. Maybe you're pushing through joint pain thinking it's a sign of strength. Or perhaps you've fallen into a comfortable routine, repeating the same motions every week, never realizing your body needs more variety to stay strong and stable. The truth is, good intentions don't always equal good results, and no one wants to waste time or effort, especially when it comes to your health. In this video, we're going to unpack 9 of the most common exercise habits that silently sabotage seniors. These are the missteps that can lead to setbacks or even discourage people from exercising altogether. The good news, every single one of these mistakes is fixable. You don't need to become a fitness expert or overhaul your lifestyle overnight. But once you know what to avoid and how to course correct, you'll move with more confidence and peace of mind. So if you've ever felt unsure about your workout, worried about joint pain, or just want to make sure you're doing the best thing for your body at this stage in life, you're in the right place. Because better movement means better living. And that's exactly what we want for you. Let's get started and take a closer look at the first mistake on the list. Mistake number 1. Skipping warm-ups. One of the most overlooked but critical parts of any workout is the warm-up. It's easy to underestimate its importance, especially when time is limited or the exercise feels light, like a short walk or a few stretches. But skipping a proper warm-up, especially as we age, can quietly set the stage for discomfort, injury, and reduced performance. Your body, after years of moving, lifting, and living, needs more preparation than it used to. Muscles take longer to loosen, joints are stiffer, circulation slows, and without the gentle buildup that a warm-up provides, your body is being asked to jump straight into action without the necessary signals that it's time to move. Imagine starting your car on a freezing winter morning and immediately hitting the gas. That's what it's like when you move from zero to full effort without easing in. Warm-ups do more than raise your heart rate. They increase blood flow to your muscles, gradually prepare your cardiovascular system, lubricate your joints, and improve mental focus. And perhaps most importantly, they give your body the chance to detect any stiffness or discomfort before you're in the middle of a demanding movement. Unfortunately, many people assume that if their workout isn't intense, they don't need a warm-up. But even light exercise can stress cold muscles, especially when you're older. The accumulated wear and tear from decades of movement means that your body appreciates a little heads-up before it's asked to perform. That 5-minute warm-up might be the reason your shoulder doesn't ache tomorrow or your knees don't feel tight by bedtime. There's also a misconception that static stretching, holding a pose for 20 or 30 seconds, is enough to prepare for a workout. But static stretching, while beneficial at the end of a session, doesn't activate your muscles. In fact, stretching cold muscles can do more harm than good. A proper warm-up involves dynamic movement. That might mean marching in place, rotating your arms and hips, stepping side to side, or doing light versions of the exercises you're about to perform. And warming up isn't just physical, it's mental. It gives you a moment to focus, breathe, and mentally shift from whatever you were doing earlier into a space where your body is your priority. That mindset shift can make a difference, not just in how you perform, but in how you feel about your workout. It becomes something you're engaged in, rather than just getting through. If you've skipped warm-ups in the past, you may have gotten lucky. Maybe nothing hurt. Maybe you didn't notice any difference. But over time, those little stressors accumulate. A tight hamstring today could turn into a pulled muscle next week. A stiff back now could lead to poor posture that affects your mobility months from now. Warming up is the investment that protects you from those slow-building problems that only seem to appear when it's too late to prevent them. Think of it as honoring your body. It's a way to say, I'm going to treat this vessel with care. I'm going to give it the respect it's earned. After all, it's carried you through decades of life, and it deserves more than to be pushed into action without a moment to prepare. A warm-up doesn't need to be complicated or long. Even 5 to 7 minutes of light movement can make a huge difference. And once you experience how much smoother your workouts feel with a proper warm-up, it'll stop feeling like a step you should do and start feeling like a step you want to do. Mistake number 2, ignoring balance and flexibility. Most people over 50 focus on strength or cardio when they think about exercise. Walking, lifting weights, using machines at the gym. And while those are absolutely important, one critical piece often gets overlooked: balance and flexibility. They're not flashy, they don't make you sweat, but they are quietly essential, especially as you get older. Ignoring them doesn't just make workouts less effective, it makes everyday life more difficult and dangerous. Balance is something we rely on constantly, whether we notice it or not. Getting out of bed, stepping into the shower, bending to tie your shoes, walking across uneven ground, these are simple actions that depend on balance. When you stop training it, it starts to fade. That's why you might find yourself feeling wobbly stepping off a curb, or catching yourself against the counter when turning too quickly. It happens slowly, and by the time it becomes noticeable, you're already at higher risk of falls. And for seniors, falls aren't minor setbacks. They're often the start of more serious health issues, from fractures to long recovery periods and even loss of independence. Flexibility goes hand in hand with balance. As we age, our muscles naturally tighten and our joints lose range of motion. This doesn't just make yoga harder, it makes everything harder. Simple tasks like putting on socks, reaching into a cupboard, or getting in and out of the car become stiffer and less comfortable. That tightness can turn into pain, and that pain often leads to people avoiding movement, which only makes the stiffness worse. It's a cycle that quietly steals mobility if it's not interrupted. Stretching and balance work are often skipped because they don't deliver quick or dramatic results. You don't walk away from a 10-minute flexibility session looking more toned or breathing hard. But what you do walk away with is better posture, less tension, and more ease in how your body moves. And over time, those small improvements compound. A little more range in your hips means a more confident stride. A little more ankle stability means fewer close calls on the stairs. These benefits build not just into better workouts, but into better daily life. What's surprising is how quickly the body can respond to this kind of work. Just a few minutes a day can make noticeable differences in how your joints feel, how smoothly you move, and how confidently you carry yourself. And it doesn't take special equipment or a gym membership. Balance can be practiced at home by simply standing on one foot while brushing your teeth or stepping side to side while watching TV. Flexibility can be improved with gentle stretches after a warm shower or at the end of your walk. The mental benefits are just as powerful. Working on balance requires focus, awareness, and patience, qualities that transfer to every other aspect of your life. Stretching encourages mindfulness, deep breathing, and time to check in with your body. These practices reduce stress and promote a calmer, more grounded state of mind, which makes every part of your health routine more sustainable. Mistake number 3, overtraining or pushing too hard. There's a mindset that many people carry with them into their senior years. The idea that more is always better. Push harder, work longer, sweat more. And while determination and discipline are admirable, they can quietly turn into self-sabotage when you don't give your body the rest and respect it needs. Overtraining isn't just something that happens to athletes. It happens to regular people too, especially seniors who are motivated to stay fit but haven't adjusted their intensity to fit their current physical reality. As you age, your body's ability to recover naturally slows down. Muscles need more time to repair. Joints become more vulnerable to wear and tear. Hormonal shifts affect energy, endurance, and sleep. Yet some people still try to follow the same routines they did 20 years ago, without realizing their body is giving them new instructions. That stiffness in the morning, the lingering soreness, the dip in energy, these aren't signs of weakness. They're signals. And when you ignore them and push harder instead, injuries become more likely, and burnout sets in quickly. There's also the issue of motivation. Many older adults fear decline, so instead of adapting, they overcompensate. They try to outwork aging by doing more, lifting heavier, or training longer. But the truth is, more isn't better. Smarter is better. Your body doesn't respond to punishment. It responds to consistency, attention, and respect. When you overtrain, you create inflammation, increase stress hormones, and actually weaken the immune system. You might think you're building strength, but you could be wearing your system down. What often makes this mistake harder to catch is that it can look like dedication. You're showing up, sweating it out, not skipping a day. But true fitness isn't about how hard you can go. It's about how well you can move and how consistently you can keep doing it without pain. Overtraining chips away at that consistency. It turns exercise into a grind instead of a gift, and it leads to fatigue that doesn't go away, moods that feel off, and a creeping sense that your workouts just don't feel right anymore. Balance is the answer. Not just physical balance, but balancing your effort, your recovery, and your expectations. Rest days aren't a sign of laziness. They're part of the plan. Gentle workouts like walking, stretching, or swimming can give your body what it needs without pushing it past its limits. And when you listen to your body, really listen, you start to train in a way that respects your energy, protects your joints, and supports long-term health instead of short bursts of effort followed by weeks of recovery. It's important to understand that strength and progress come from the right dose of stress followed by proper rest. Without the rest, you don't recover. Without recovery, you don't grow. It's not about doing less, it's about doing what your body can benefit from. You can still challenge yourself, still sweat, still feel proud after a workout. But those workouts should leave you feeling stronger over time, not more broken. Mistake number 4, sticking to only one type of exercise. It's easy to fall into a routine that feels familiar. Maybe you take a brisk walk every morning, or you spend 20 minutes on the stationary bike while watching the news. And that's great. Movement of any kind is valuable. But the mistake many seniors make is sticking to only one type of exercise and assuming it's enough. Your body, especially after age 50, needs more than just repetition. It needs variety. Without it, you're not just limiting your progress, you're slowly setting the stage for imbalances, plateaus, and even injuries. Every form of exercise targets the body differently. Cardiovascular workouts like walking or swimming are excellent for heart health and endurance, but they don't do much for muscle strength. Strength training builds muscle and supports bone density, but without stretching or mobility work, it can lead to stiffness. Balance exercises improve stability, yet they don't increase your cardiovascular capacity. When you focus on just one area and neglect the others, certain muscles and systems become overused while others are ignored. Over time, this creates a fragile structure, one that looks fine on the surface, but lacks the resilience and adaptability your body truly needs. The truth is, aging gracefully means training in a well-rounded way. Your muscles need to be challenged to stay strong, your joints need movement to stay fluid, and your heart needs to be worked to stay efficient. When you only walk, or only lift weights, or only stretch, you're missing out on the holistic benefits that come from cross-training, a blend of strength, cardio, balance, and flexibility. It's not about doing long, intense workouts every day. It's about incorporating small, diverse movements into your week. Maybe you add a light resistance band routine twice a week. Maybe you follow a balance video once or twice between walks. Or maybe you take 5 minutes after your regular session to stretch key areas like your hips, shoulders, and spine. These small shifts create balance in your body, reduce wear and tear, and protect you from injury. Your body thrives on movement, but more importantly, it thrives on varied movement. If you've been doing the same type of exercise day in and day out, it's time to ask whether your body is being challenged in all the ways it needs. Because true health after 50 isn't built by doing more of the same. It's built by moving smarter, not just harder. Mistake number 5. Lifting too much or too little weight. When it comes to strength training, many seniors fall into one of two traps. Some lift too much, pushing their bodies beyond what's safe. Others lift too little, not challenging their muscles enough to make meaningful progress. Both mistakes come from a place of good intention, but they can quietly undermine the very goals you're working toward: stronger muscles, better balance, and a more capable body. Lifting too much weight often starts with pride or memory. Maybe you used to lift a certain amount years ago, and you believe you should still be able to. Or perhaps you feel like pushing heavy weights is the quickest way to gain strength. But the truth is, form matters far more than numbers. When the weight is too heavy, the first thing to break down is your posture. You start to compensate with other muscles, strain your joints, or create movement patterns that stress your back, knees, or shoulders. The result is often pain, inflammation, or injury, not strength. On the flip side, lifting too little can be just as limiting. Many older adults are so cautious about avoiding injury that they never challenge their muscles enough to grow. They use weights that are far below their capacity, or they avoid strength training entirely. But here's the reality. Your muscles respond to resistance. Without enough challenge, they weaken over time. And weak muscles don't just affect your workouts. They affect your ability to get up from a chair, carry groceries, climb stairs, and live independently. The sweet spot is finding a weight that challenges you, but allows you to complete your movements with good form. You should feel effort. Your muscles should work, but you shouldn't feel pain or strain. You should be able to complete your reps with control, but feel like the last few are difficult. That's how strength is built, not through exhaustion or fear, but through intentional, progressive effort. Mistake number 6. Poor form and technique. It doesn't matter how strong you are or how long you've been exercising. If your form is off, your workout is working against you. Poor technique is one of the most common and most damaging mistakes seniors make during exercise. It might start small: a slightly rounded back during a squat, a shallow bend in the elbow during a curl, or a walking posture that leans too far forward. But over time, these subtle misalignments can lead to discomfort, joint strain, or even serious injury. Good form isn't about looking perfect. It's about moving in a way that protects your joints, engages the right muscles, and allows your body to move efficiently. As we age, it becomes even more important. Years of habits, previous injuries, or reduced mobility can change how we move. Without proper awareness, you might be putting pressure on areas that are already vulnerable. like your lower back, your knees, or your neck, and not even realize it until something goes wrong. One of the biggest challenges with poor form is that it often doesn't hurt right away. In fact, it might feel easier. You might think, I'm doing this right because it doesn't feel too hard. But if you're letting momentum do the work, using the wrong muscles, or moving too quickly to stay in control, you're not training your body. You're teaching it bad habits, and those habits become harder to undo the longer they're repeated. Proper technique doesn't require fancy equipment or professional training. It requires attention. It requires slowing down, watching how your body moves, and being open to adjusting. Sometimes it means using a mirror to check your posture, asking a trainer for feedback, or filming yourself during an exercise to see what's really happening. These small steps can reveal big gaps between what you think your body is doing and what it's actually doing. It's also worth remembering that proper form isn't static. Your range of motion, strength, and balance can change over time. What worked 5 years ago might not be the best approach now. That's not failure, that's growth. Listening to your body and adapting your form to fit where you are today is one of the most powerful things you can do to stay injury-free and confident in your movement. Mistake number 7. Not listening to your body. Mistaking fatigue for weakness or dismissing lingering aches as just part of getting older can lead you down a dangerous path. When you ignore your body's signals, pushing through pain, brushing off discomfort, or plowing ahead despite exhaustion, you risk turning a minor issue into a major setback. Your body speaks through sensations: a twinge in your knee, a burn in your lower back, a sudden shortness of breath. These are not inconveniences to power past, but alerts to respect. Imagine running a small engine until it overheats and stalls. That's what happens when you drive yourself without pauses or adjustments. Pain, stiffness, and fatigue are warnings that alignment, intensity, or recovery needs a reset. Yet so often, well-meaning seniors push harder, believing resilience means ignoring these cues. Over time, what began as mild soreness can become chronic inflammation. What began as gentle fatigue can devolve into full-blown burnout. The result is missed workouts, longer recoveries, or even injuries that require medical intervention. Listening to your body doesn't mean avoiding all challenge. Instead, it means tuning in to how you feel before, during, and after each movement. If a weight feels heavier than usual, if your heart rate spikes unexpectedly, or if your joints sound like creaky hinges, take note. Slow down, adjust your pace, or swap to a gentler alternative. When you honor these signals, you build a foundation of trust with your own physiology. A partnership that keeps you consistent and engaged rather than sidelined. Paying attention also means recognizing the difference between good discomfort, like the familiar burn of muscle engagement, and bad pain that signals harm. Sharp twinges, joint pinches, or nerve sensations are not badges of honor. They are invitations to reassess. Perhaps your form needs tweaking, or perhaps you need to switch to a lower impact activity that day. Rest days and active recovery are not signs of weakness but signs of wisdom, allowing the body to heal and adapt. Many seniors fear that slowing down means sliding backward. The opposite is true. By integrating rest, adjustment, and self-awareness, you maintain momentum over the long haul. You prevent small niggles from becoming chronic conditions. You stay ahead of the curve rather than chasing after lost ground. In practice, listening to your body can be as simple as doing a quick body scan before your workout. Check in with your joints, your breathing, and your mental focus. It can mean ending a set a few reps early if pain flares, or choosing a restorative yoga session instead of a second round of strength training when energy dips. These choices may feel cautious in the moment, but they preserve your ability to show up again tomorrow, next week, and next year. Mistake number 8. Inconsistency or long breaks. One of the biggest barriers to progress for seniors isn't lack of motivation or physical ability, It's inconsistency. Life happens, you get busy, you travel. The weather turns cold, a minor injury flares up, and before you know it, you've gone weeks without meaningful movement. Then comes the hesitation. Restarting feels overwhelming. Your body feels stiffer, and suddenly the idea of getting back on track feels harder than just avoiding it altogether. But long breaks don't just pause your progress. They can quietly reverse it. When you stop moving regularly, your muscles begin to weaken, your balance starts to fade, and your joints lose flexibility. The cardiovascular benefits you've built up start to taper off. Even your confidence in your body can slip away. What once felt easy starts to feel effortful, and the longer the break lasts, the more intimidating it feels to resume, creating a frustrating loop that pulls you further from your goals. Inconsistency doesn't just affect physical health, it affects mindset. You might start telling yourself you're too old to get back into a routine or that it's too late to make progress. That kind of thinking becomes its own obstacle, reinforcing the very cycle you're trying to escape. And the truth is, fitness at any age, especially after 50, is more about momentum than intensity. Small, regular efforts deliver more lasting results than occasional bursts of hard effort followed by long gaps. The good news is that your body is incredibly adaptive. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to exercise every day. You just need to stay in the rhythm. 3 to 4 sessions a week of moderate activity, walking, strength work, stretching, balance practice, is enough to maintain and even improve your health. And if you miss a week, start again. No guilt, no shame. Just pick up where you are and move forward. Consistency also builds trust, not just in your body, but in your habits. It teaches you that you can rely on yourself, even when motivation dips. And it protects your long-term function far better than any intense short-term program. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't wait until your teeth hurt to clean them. You do it daily to prevent problems. Movement works the same way. It's not about fixing what's wrong. It's about keeping everything right. Mistake number 9. Exercising without medical guidance. Many seniors begin an exercise routine with the best intentions. They want to feel stronger, move better, and maintain independence. But one of the most dangerous mistakes made in this process is starting or continuing exercise without medical guidance. What might feel like a harmless workout plan can quietly become risky if it doesn't account for your health history, current medications, or underlying conditions. This isn't about being fearful. It's about being informed and prepared. As we get older, the body becomes more complex. You may be managing high blood pressure, arthritis, osteoporosis, diabetes, or previous surgeries. These conditions don't mean you can't exercise. In fact, movement is often one of the best prescriptions. But how you move matters. Certain exercises that are safe for one person can be harmful for another. For example, heavy weight-bearing movements may not be suitable for someone with spinal issues, while high-impact cardio might aggravate joint pain or heart rhythm irregularities in others. Without proper medical input, you might not even realize you're placing strain on a vulnerable area until symptoms appear. It could be something as subtle as dizziness, shortness of breath, joint swelling, or irregular heartbeat. These red flags are often dismissed as fatigue or aging when they might actually be signs that your exercise plan needs adjusting. Working with a doctor, physical therapist, or qualified fitness professional can help you build a program that works with your body, not against it. A medical checkup before starting a new routine isn't just a precaution. It's a way to understand your baseline, your limits, and your opportunities. It helps you identify what areas need strengthening, what movements to avoid, and how to progress safely over time. Guidance becomes even more important if you're returning to exercise after a long break, recovering from an injury, or managing a chronic condition. Your body's capacity can change quickly, and what once felt easy might now require modification. The goal is not to avoid challenge, but to avoid setbacks. And a few minutes of professional advice can save you months of recovery. By now, you've taken an honest look at some of the most common exercise mistakes seniors make. And if you recognized yourself in any of them, you're not alone. These habits don't happen because people are careless. They happen because we're doing the best we can with the knowledge we have. But today, you have new knowledge. And with that comes the power to change how you move, how you feel, and how well your body supports you in the years ahead. You've seen how skipping warm-ups can lead to unnecessary strain, how neglecting balance and flexibility can quietly steal mobility, and how pushing too hard or training with poor form can lead to injuries that sideline your progress. You've explored how lifting too much or too little limits your strength, how sticking to one type of exercise creates imbalances, and how long breaks can undo weeks of hard work. You now understand why listening to your body matters more than powering through pain, and why working without proper guidance can turn good intentions into preventable problems. And here's the most important takeaway. Every single one of these mistakes is fixable. You don't need to overhaul your routine overnight. You just need to start with awareness and keep showing up. When you make smarter choices, even small ones, your body rewards you with better energy, better movement, and a greater sense of control. That's what real progress looks like after 50. At Active Healthcare, we believe that exercise isn't about looking a certain way. It's about feeling strong, capable, and confident in your own body. It's about doing what you love without fear, staying independent, and living with vitality. And it's never too late to start moving smarter. Whether you're picking up weights for the first time or returning after a long pause, you have everything you need to build a healthier, more active future. So take the next step, review your routine, make one adjustment, then another, and keep going. Because every drop of effort you invest today pays you back tomorrow. In strength, in freedom, and in joy. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to Active Healthcare, and share it with someone who could use a little inspiration to move better and feel better. Together, we're building a community of thriving, vibrant lives after 50, one smart step at a time.